but we do have our next series before us. This PvP. I like them both. Don't know who to go for. I mean, I guess the added benefit is that the loser of this series doesn't get eliminated. They will have a second life in the lower bracket. And here we go. We are jumping into... Oh. We are jumping into this, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura, we have the Danish Protoss representing Psystorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss representing Team Abydos. It is NightMare. And there we go. I was like, for some reason my keyboard just wasn't working, but there we go. We are now in the best of 3. And MaxPax is doing MaxPax things. And I wonder if NightMare is going to try and punish him. MaxPax is going for a gate expand here on Death Aura. This is one of the original maps that you could go for this. Even though there's no ramp, the entryway into the natural is very narrow, so you can go for a greedy opener in PvP. NightMare goes for a standard 2-gate opener instead. With this probe, he's going to be rushing across the map, and he's going to be spotting and realizing what MaxPax is doing, and then NightMare is probably going to go for one base all in. Aye. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. And it's going to be on MaxPax to defend. There we go. As NightMare is already setting up a proxy pylon across the map. This is looking to be a proxy robo. Wouldn't be a bad position for it, but we'll see what he does end up committing to. I love that NightMare actually didn't probe scout, but he knows MaxPax well enough that, mate, he probably went for a gate expand. It's MaxPax. Like, he's always going for these greedy openers in PvP, and he's always daring his opponents to try to punish him. And rarely they can. Rarely. As NightMare was just setting up, and it looks like he's going to be going for a proxy 3rd gateway, so he's going to have an abundance of production available to him. Now he's going to go for the follow-up scout as well, and is going to recognize what MaxPax has been up to. Shield battery is going to be thrown down. MaxPax already getting ready to defend whatever comes his way. And now the pressure's on NightMare. The pressure is on him to do some damage and to somehow deny this greed here from his opponent. He's going to try to read the movement of this adept, and he is going to be able to come across it. And should be able to focus it down. Up. Oof. Adept does fall. Meanwhile, across the map, MaxPax is going for an Oracle. He's going for a Forge as well, which will give him access to cannons if he does need them. His probe is just scouring the map right now, looking for the proxy. And NightMare is going to expand behind this. Bold move here from NightMare. Bold move. Like, he is so far behind economically, but he has potential to equalize. He has potential to do some counter damage. As he is warping in another wave of Stalkers. We do see a Void Ray on the way back at home, and some cannons as well. MaxPax taking this very seriously. So 2 shield batteries, a cannon, and a Void Ray to defend back at home. And even a shield battery in the main. Wow. You know, MaxPax will scout. He confirms that there is a Nexus on the way, but it is very late. And, oh, there's nothing in the main base to defend. At the same time, NightMare, he's pushing on forward with his mass Stalkers. Takes down a building shield battery, takes down a Zealot as well. He wants that Void Ray up. Oh, we'll lose the Stalker in the process. Doesn't quite get it. He's trying to lure the Void Ray out, but we have the overcharge. The Void Ray will survive. Meanwhile, across the map, 9 probes went down. NightMare is all in. I almost want NightMare to cancel this. Yeah, there we go. Like, he needs the money right now. He just lost 9 workers. Like, he needs to warp in. Oof. And it looks like he still won't get the Void Ray. How does it not die? Oh my god. The Void Ray just dancing with the Stalkers. The second Void Ray comes out. Adepts are rocking up, and the Adepts are going to be able to get past this army, get past the wall into the mineral line. Oh, they don't commit to the shade. And at least one Void Ray went down, but we have another on the way. We are going to be able to focus to at least one of these gateways, which will hinder the production. We actually don't have another gateway available here for MaxPax. He's going to try to focus on as many of these probes as he can. Meanwhile, the Stalkers are laying siege upon the Cyber Core. Up, the Void Ray. Boys are being pulled once again. He tries to snipe that Void Ray, but he just can't get close enough. Oof. Stalkers are going down once again. Looks like we will get the Cyber Core, which again means no more Stalkers, but MaxPax is all about the Void Rays, not the Stalkers. Up, 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 up. They're attempting to control against each other. MaxPax did just lose 12 workers to those Adepts, but he still has a massive worker lead. Oh, we're losing too much. 2 Stalkers go down. Yeah, and I don't know if NightMare can really pull this off. He's losing just far too much. The overcharge keeps the Void Rays alive, and it looks like MaxPax has done it once again. He goes for a greedy build in PvP. He gets away with it. He doesn't get punished. Adepts get cleaned up. GG gets called, and MaxPax will take game number 1. GG. Oh. He can't keep getting away with it, Papi. I swear, I feel like if you I was gonna say, I feel like if you play against MaxPax and you're loading into maps like this, maps like Death Aura, or even even Gresfan as well, Royal Blood, that's the other big one, Royal Blood. It may just be worth going for gate expands yourself. As much as I want to say that though, I also know that the last time we saw both MaxPax and his opponent go for gate expands on a map that can be abused like that, MaxPax just goes for an all-in himself. like he's the one suddenly to punish you instead, and he's just so good at it. Like it's crazy. Bread and butter. Yeah, like that. This is like the comfort zone for MaxPax. MaxPax, he wants to defend against a one base all-in, and it's gonna happen again. By the way, this is Royal Blood. Like this is the other map where MaxPax just goes for the gate expand. And let's go, because spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the Danish Protoss player representing Psy Storm Gaming, leading this series 1-0. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss representing Team Abydos. It is NightMare. And we are about to have the exact same scenario. MaxPax is going for a gate expand setup here on the low ground. NightMare is going for a 2-gate opener. NightMare is going to scout across the map, recognize that MaxPax is going for a greedy build, and NightMare, it's going to be on him to try and punish this or do something else. Now, my favorite response to MaxPax is still what Hero did. Hero, a month ago, took down MaxPax on Royal Blood, and you know what Hero did? He went for a 2-gate opener. He scouted that MaxPax was going for a gate expand, and Hero, he took the gold. Hero didn't take his natural, he took the gold instead. It was so smart. I loved it. He's like, man, you want to be greedy? Okay, I'll be greedy. Like, it was such a Hero thing to do, and Hero beat MaxPax. He took the series. He even took the left-hand gold as well, like on Royal Blood. Like, it was so smart of him to have like a unique reaction, like a unique response to what MaxPax was doing. And MaxPax was like preparing for an all-in that never came, essentially. So we'll see what NightMare has in store for us. We'll see what he can bring to the table, as he does scout, he does confirm what his opponent is up to, and yeah, we'll see what kind of We'll see if NightMare has a better reaction here. If he does commit to a one-base all-in, or if he tries to play from behind. I saw that here at MaxPax map. Yeah. It was so good. So good, Bobby. So good. But yeah, from here, NightMare is just going to be delaying the Nexus, throwing down his pylon, forcing out a Zealot, forcing out a response. And NightMare, he's just going to expand. Okay. I think he's accepted his fate. He's like, you know what? You have your natural. Have it. I don't even care. You know, I'm just gonna go for my own expansion. I respect it. I respect it. Oh. I think NightMare, he's learned his lesson. He's like, I'm not gonna try and one base all-in you. It's just not working. It's not working. We've seen it before. In OSC King of the Hill, for example, NightMare tried to punish MaxPax, and it's so difficult to do. But here we go. NightMare does go for a double Adept opener. Is looking or vying for map control. Looking for a way in. And just going for his own expansion behind this. MaxPax is going to be scouting. He's checking the gold. I love it. The reason why he checks, I want to believe that it's because of Hero. I think Hero left his mark on MaxPax. So he does check the gold just in case. Just in case. I appreciate it. As the first Zealot is going to be going across the map. And shouldn't be doing too much. Just going to be a nuisance here for NightMare. Behind this, we're getting into our Twilight Council, our second gateway. MaxPax just getting into the swing of things. Just content with his economic advantage. Not just that, but because he went for a Stargate follow-up, or because he went for a Stargate first because his Nexus was delayed, he has potential to counterattack. He has potential to harass. NightMare has 2 Stalkers in position, but no shield batteries, so MaxPax, if he wanted to, he could try and ignore these Stalkers and just go for the damage. Yeah, that's exactly what he does. 3 probes will go down, 4 probes even. And MaxPax keeps his oracles alive. And with that, yeah, we're just gonna slowly kind of get into our game. MaxPax, he's up 7 workers, which is pretty significant, like, because of the opener and because of the economic damage that he just dealt. He has a pretty significant lead here. The other crazy thing about this opener is that the Twilight Council isn't even that early for NightMare. Like, the Blink is going to finish up at around the same time. He does end up shading past the Stalker, so he's going to be able to do some counter damage. This is pretty crucial here for NightMare. He has to come back in this game. Oh, 6 probes do go down. Nicely done here from NightMare. He's going to be able to maybe even get another. Oh, he does get a 7th probe. Can he get an 8th? Oh my god. Does get an 8th probe in the end. Two Adepts for 8 workers is pretty insane, but MaxPax isn't done. He still has his oracles, bear that in mind, so he's going to be threatening the bases of NightMare. But NightMare has done a great job at catching up in the economy. And is looking to extend that lead by going for his 3rd base. Likewise, so is MaxPax. So we have a pretty competitive game. We have now evened things up. Stalker counts are in favor of NightMare. 3rd base timing is slightly in favor of NightMare as well, but MaxPax does get eyes on this with his Oracle. He's going to be able to dip on in. Behind this, MaxPax did actually go up to 4 gates. So he actually has a larger production capability here compared to NightMare. He's going to be looking to try and flex that. Going to try to force a cancel at this base or just trade with the army itself. And MaxPax is going to be able to force this back. At the same time, oh, it looks like the Oracle did dive into the main base, but it was cleaned up. Oh, and MaxPax has to be careful not to overextend. We do see NightMare just blinking on forward, and he does take down a couple of Stalkers. will back off. At the same time, we've got a couple of adepts on the left-hand side. It looks like MaxPax wants to try to slip into a mineral line, do some counter damage. The Stalkers are a little bit out of position, so these adepts are going to get some damage done. How many workers can we get? 2 so far. Can we get 3? Can we get 4? Oh. Oof. 4 probes. Not too bad. Not too bad. Again, for 2 adepts, well worth it here for MaxPax. He backs off. He's getting his own third base up and running. We're getting into a Forge Robo +1. We're getting into the mid game. And we do see already a bit of a variation here between our players. NightMare is going to be going for mainly a gateway-heavy, gateway-centric army, going Stalkers into Zealots. MaxPax, for the time being, is going pure Stalker. He actually has avoided the charge upgrade so far. Let's see, dips in again. Oh. As he gets another 4 probes. My god. NightMare just wasn't ready for it. He's lacking, or both players are kind of lacking some map vision and map awareness. NightMare was just not anticipating another counterattack, and yeah, he's taking quite some hits. Gonna be taking a 4th base behind it, gonna try and catch up. And there we go. MaxPax, instead of going for charge, he's going for the Dark Shrine. He's going for DTs. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. NightMare sharking around. He could even come across this would-be 4th base. It looks like he will. Just get a kill on that pylon. Meanwhile, the hallucination of NightMare thankfully did see the Dark Shrine. NightMare did come across it, so he should be working on detection. Yeah, there we go. We have an observer here back at home. We have an observer across the map. We should be throwing down some cannons as well. I am concerned that maybe NightMare didn't click on the building and may not know what he saw.
Your probes are under attack.
Oh my god, these adepts, they just keep getting more and more damage. But there we go. We have the cannons on the way for MaxPax at least. Not for NightMare. Have a Zealot counterattack, not really finding too much damage. He's going to force a massive reaction out of MaxPax. One of the observers does get sniped. That is going to be pretty significant, as NightMare only has 1 observer left. Yeah, I don't think he saw it. I don't think he clicked on the Dark Shrine. So even though the hallucination did spot it, I don't think NightMare has really recognized what he saw, because yeah, the DTs are on the way. No cannons, only 1 observer. But NightMare may not care. He still has a massive army. The amount of charge loss he has is insane. This is going to get spotted by that DT. And I don't think, I don't think MaxPax can really contest against this. So here we go. NightMare's pushing on forward. He's looking to try and force a cancel on this 4th base. Oh, MaxPax losing some of his units. Does get a kill on the Nexus. Ay, ay, ay. Meanwhile, the DTs have arrived. They're doing a lot of damage across the map. But NightMare just has an insane army. Meanwhile, the DTs are going ham. They are doing well for themselves, to be fair, but NightMare so patient with his play, just utilizing that whole position, not rushing forward needlessly. So he's trying to focus on his defense back at home. We have DTs in every single base. NightMare, oh my god. He does have an observer back at home, and he's trying to deal with this, but this is getting far too out of hand. This is doing game-ending damage. NightMare has to end the game here and now with his army, but he's lost all his Zealots. His Zealots are all gone. He had like 15 Zealots here with his army earlier. But he lost everything, and these DTs still haven't been cleaned up. Ay, ay, ay. There's still a DT in the main, still a DT here at the 3rd base. NightMare turns around. As the DTs are finally being cleaned up, but they killed 23 probes. Ugh, the prism falls as well. NightMare kind of falling apart amidst all this chaos. Like, he had such a massive army. He was doing so well pushing out across the map. But then he was just a little bit too distracted by the DTs that he wasn't even able to clean them up effectively. Now we see NightMare trying to push himself up this ramp. He still has an overwhelming force. MaxPax being punished for his counterattack. Oh, and he's losing too much. There's still a DT, by the way. There's still a DT in the main. Oof. Well, NightMare's rotating on around. He still hasn't... Okay, he does now spot that fourth base. He's aware of it. Shield battery's going to finish up just in time. We will have an overcharge. But without Archons, I like MaxPax's army is just inferior right now. That's the problem. Like, he can't really deal with all these zealots, deal with all these stalkers. NightMare still has a massive advantage. He goes for the DTs. But there's an observer with the main army. I think MaxPax was trying to snipe the observer earlier, but he wasn't quite able to get it. Oof, loses his own. The one DT puppy, oh my god. The MVP DTs for MaxPax getting another mineral line. 12 more workers go down. Ay, ay, ay. As we do force a cancel on the 5th base. NightMare once again overpowering, overwhelming with his stalkers. But MaxPax is barely holding on. Does snipe the observer actually, so he can warp in defensive DTs. That is available to him. As NightMare has to respect that overcharge, he backs off. Do we have another observer? We do. He's with the main army. One observer left for NightMare. Behind this, NightMare, his worker count is really struggling. Unfortunately, MaxPax, he didn't quite have the gateway count to really sustain just constant warp in, so he's got a decent bank available to him. Hasn't been able to spend it. Now things are getting awkward. NightMare, it looks like he's out positioning MaxPax. He's once again going to be threatening that 4th base. Does back off. Rotating over towards the 5th base of MaxPax instead. Yeah, MaxPax out of position, wasn't able to keep up. At the same time, Zelts are going for another counterattack. 16 workers do go down. MaxPax is losing his economic lead. And with that, he's taking a decent fight, to be fair. Shaving off a decent amount of those zealots. But NightMare is taking his own 5th. Oof. Oh god, this game has been so tense. it's been so tense, Papi. Oh my god, at every turn it feels like NightMare has the better army, and he's had the better army for a long time. Like, even now, I think he can go toe-to-toe and overwhelm what MaxPax has. But like, the DT's just constantly sending back, and he's been like second guessing himself. He hasn't been able to commit. To be fair, this is not a good angle of attack for NightMare. He has to respect this. He has to back off. Despite having DTs, I'm surprised MaxPax hasn't invested into any Archons yet either. NightMare is going for a counterattack. MaxPax honestly trading quite well against all these zealots, shaving off so many of them. At the same time, Zealot run by here towards that 3rd base. Likewise, NightMare going for his own run by. Oh, and he's going to be able to catch the mineral line. He's going to be able to take down the cannon as well. We will have defensive DTs. But NightMare's, he's going to keep on pushing. He finds the third. And he's going to be able to get the Nexus. Nexus goes down. But it does feel like with all the chaos ensuing, like MaxPax is maybe getting the better end of it. Like he's winning here on the right hand side. He's forcing NightMare all the way back. NightMare rotating over to try to meet up with that army. Yeah, he has to stay here in the center just because of MaxPax's posturing. That means that this space is going to be under threat. Yo, the DTs, they do blink in. Yo, but we got cannons. NightMare, he's learned his lesson. We have stack detection. NightMare, he just rotates over towards that third base. Sorry, MaxPax rotates over. NightMare, this time out of position. And now he may lose his own Nexus. Oh, we're not going to quite focus it down. We go for the probes instead. As MaxPax is being forced back, we do have another DT Zealot run by. And it does feel like overall, NightMare's just he's had a really hard time defending. Pylon goes down. NightMare, he's going to lose the mineral line. At the same time, here come the reinforcements. MaxPax taking a better fight. It's so scrappy. Do have detection. NightMare able to keep up with MaxPax this time. Oh. He has the higher Stalker count. Has been able to squeeze out one of these bases here towards the left, but so has MaxPax. It's been pretty back and forth. And no one's like, everyone's refusing to tech. Like, it's like, what are disruptors? What are archons? Nah, mate, it's all about the blink stalker charge. Like, true. I mean, I guess MaxPax has been sprinkling in DTs, and they've been working out really well for him, to be fair. It's all about the Gateway Army. So again, another Zealot run by here on the right hand side. Oh, no cannons or shield batteries here at the third. Or third? Fourth. Gonna have to react with his own Zealots and DTs. And now, yeah, this is going to be cleaned up at the same time. We do have a Zealot run by towards the top left. Likewise, Zealot run by towards the bottom right. MaxPax is going to be able to defend. I can't say the same for NightMare. Yeah, he's going to lose the Nexus. Fortunately, a slow warp in for NightMare. And now this Zealot run by on the right-hand side is getting out of hand. This time, we do have a shield battery to support, but this isn't just DTs. Sorry, this isn't just Zealots, it's also DTs. Does force a recall. Interesting that the recall actually put units up here. I didn't I didn't know that would happen. But okay. The more you know. And Zealot's just annoying top left. Another Zealot DT run by here. There is no detection. MaxPax is going to respect it. He's going to rotate over as well. Oh my god, we just recalled! NightMare, he has to race back home. Yeah, MaxPax, he doesn't commit. Shuts down the Prism in his main. I don't know if you saw, but NightMare actually went for his own Dark Shrine, so he's warping in DTs of his own. He knows what's good. He knows what's good in PvP. But again, it feels like NightMare's just been having a really hard time splitting off his army. He's just been taking worse fights. DTs are going across the map. There is a cannon to defend, and Zealots as well to body block. DTs won't find too much damage, and NightMare doesn't quite break through. Not quite. But it doesn't matter. It's all about the run bys. Again, NightMare, he's just being pulled apart. This entire game, that's been the story of this game, is that whenever NightMare attacks, there's like a Zealot run by or a DT or Even here with Blink Stalkers, bases are falling left and right. Things have finally gotten out of hand and NightMare is all in. He has no economy behind this. He has no bases. It took a while. It was 20 minutes of skirmishing. Like, shout out to these two players. It was 20 minutes of these small battles here and there, back and forth, vying for map control, vying for these fringe bases. But over time, MaxPax did overwhelm NightMare. He did outposition him. He did out-control him. Out-multitask, that's what I'm going for. There's just nothing left. There's just nothing left here. There have been moments in this game when NightMare, he just had like, he was up like 30 supply. That did happen earlier, like 5 to 10 minutes ago, when NightMare just had a massive supply lead, a massive army lead, but it was the DTs. It was like the 1 to 2 DTs just constantly harassing, constantly forcing NightMare's attention back home. GG gets called, and MaxPax will take the series 2-0. Oh. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to MaxPax. That was a hard fought game, though. To be fair, NightMare was keeping up for a long time, and he was even looking better than MaxPax at times, or at least macro wise. Like, he had a stronger army. There were moments where I do think that he could have tried to break one of the main bases of MaxPax, but it's all about the counterattacks, all about the run buys. GG. Oh, and MaxPax moves on to the next round. He's already got an opponent, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He's gonna be moving on to face Spirit in the next round. Oh, let's go, Papi, let's go. Is gonna move on to face Spirit.